My perception has definitely changed over the years. I got my first certification back in early 2000. I think it was August of 2000 or something like that. So I got my first certification, which was an A+ certification. So that was almost 20 years ago. Over the last 20 years, I've gotten a ton of different certifications. My perspective is you shouldn't be collecting certifications like baseball cards. And as a guy who sells certification training for a living, I should want you to get every certification out there, right? But I see a lot of students who do this, and they basically just go and get every certification they can. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a better employee. It doesn't mean you can actually do the job. And so I think it's important to figure out and start with the end in mind. So you have to know, where is it that I want to be? And what I always ask my students on the first day, I say, okay, if I could snap my fingers right now and say in 5 years, you're going to have X job, what is that job that you'd want? And if they can't answer that question, then they really don't know where they are in their path, right? Because when we talk about, I want to be in cybersecurity or I want to be in IT, there are hundreds of jobs in both of those fields. You have to know what you want to get towards. Because if you want to be a network administrator or a network engineer, that's one path. If you want to be a cybersecurity SOC analyst, that's another path. If you want to be a pen tester, that's another path. If you want to be a risk management analyst, that's another path. And so I think you have to start out going, okay, this is the thing I want to be. Now, what do I need to do? What are the steps I need to take to get me there? And that may be that if I want to be a pen tester, which is one of the common ones I hear from students, everybody thinks hacking is cool. You have to realize that to be a pen tester, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years of building up these foundations and these basics. Because to be a good pen tester, you have to understand hardware, which is A+. You have to understand software and operating systems, which may be a server operating system or a desktop operating system. So that's your Microsoft certifications. You may have to understand networking, which is your CCNA and your Network Plus. You need to understand security. So that's Security Plus and CYSA Plus and CEH. And you have to understand programming. So you have to learn some Python and Ruby and PowerShell. And you got to take all these little pieces to put them together to make a good pen tester. It's not something where you can say, hey, I'm going to go through this 2-week boot camp and I'm going to come out being an awesome pen tester. It's just not going to happen, right? It's these things that we build up time and time again to get us to where we want to go. So I think as you're starting out in the field, it's really important to have a vision of where you want to be. And then the other thing that's important is to realize that you're not going to start out at that 5-year goal today. Even if you can go and get that, some high-level certification, for instance, an employer is still not going to hire you just because you have a certification or just because you have a degree. Most employers want experience as well. And how do you get experience if nobody will hire you? And that kind of goes back to that challenge, right? So sometimes you have to start out earlier on. The traditional route is people start in the help desk, then they move to become a system analyst or a system administrator or a network administrator, one of those two paths, and then they would branch into security. Nowadays, you hear a lot of colleges, they're saying, oh, just come get our bachelor's of cybersecurity degree and you'll walk into a job making $100,000 a year. And honestly, that's just not the case.